Several conservative influencers were swatted this weekend. For those wondering, this is what being swatted looks like. This is Joe Pags. He's one of the people that was swatted this weekend, and he is a radio guy, talk show guy, but this is what he was saying about the incident.
When it's at night, the cameras are very good. They're color cameras, they're audio cameras.
So he has cameras outside of his house.
But at night, it goes to sort of a night vision view. So I can't tell if it's a police officer or not. I don't know who it is, but he looks a little bit nervous. But believe me, I've got a video of this guy with a rifle at my front door.
So again, this is outside his rural home in Texas at 2:30 a.m. And that's his visual. So all of these people who are swatted, I'm going to get into this a little bit more, but everyone who's swatted doesn't know that they're being swatted in the moment. Like at first, it's some weird intruder on their property, and then most of them realize what's happening, but the police don't know. So to the police, there's potentially a murder happening inside, kidnapping. There's a bunch of different things that are accused when they show up like this, but they come in full tactical gear, guns drawn like this. I mean, it's just so scary to see this footage because like this is what he saw from bed at 2:30 a.m. Maybe police, maybe dressed up like police. Like my mind would go to it's anyone but the police because I have not committed any crimes. So it's a bad guy pretending to be a police officer. I mean, you could go anywhere in your mind with it. That's why this is so scary for everyone.
And I called 911. That was the right answer. And I said, this is my address. This is who I am. Radio, television, talk show host. So some would say public figure. I think I'm being swatted. Are you guys at my house? But 2 seconds later, she said, yes, we are. We got a report of this, and this. Dogs were shot. People were bleeding. People were hiding. And none of that was true. None of it true. So I said, none of that's happening. Please tell him to stand down. I'll come out with my hands up while I have you on the phone with me. And I'll explain what's going on. She said, okay, I haven't made contact with him yet. Don't go out yet. So then I walk out of my production studio, and I see in my backyard, you got 2 or 3 people with flashlights.
Surrounded in your own home.
Give me the go. When he says he's good, when he's got that gun barrel down, I will come out. Waiting. Then she says, I still have the complainant on the line. I said, well, I'm at the address. Okay. So there is no complainant here.
That is crazy to me, too, that there is another human on the phone being like, no, there's a murder happening in that house. And then the man in the house is like, I'm here. No one's here. Drop your guns. And, like, they don't. Like, it's such dangerous territory. And the fact that anyone can just call and say anything and they have to believe it. Oh, it's so scary. Man, it's like everyone now has footage of these swatting, so it makes it feel more real, I think. That you can actually see what this looks like. Now, remember, that is 2:35 a.m. in rural Texas at the house of Joe Pags, one of the several conservative voices that were swatted over the weekend. It was honestly a bunch of influencers that I follow who were all swatted within what seemed like hours of each other. From what I could find, it was Nick Sorter, Shawn Farash, Cat Turd, which, by the way, these are X handles, Gunther Eagleman, Joe Pags, Chase Geyser, and Matt VanSwol, all of whom also documented their experiences on X, which is the main platform that most of them use. And here is Matt's experience and what he had on his video cameras, but I wanted to call him out specifically because he was someone that I followed through the Western North Carolina hurricane that happened and hit a couple months ago, and he's just done such a great job reporting on that, covering that because that's where he's from. But this is his story because now he's become very vocal on X as a result of all of that. It's wild because he wasn't even like a conservative voice last year. Like he's totally new to the game, and frankly, from what my understanding is, he's new to conservatism. Like he was an open Democrat semi-recently, and now he's just totally changed his perspective. Okay, so this is his house. Again, this is 2 a.m. at his family home. This is just like the Ring doorbell. So again, your perspective of your home is this. Are they police? Like you're seeing that and it's just like, is it an intruder? You have no idea. Just imagine that doorbell ring at 2 a.m. Like I get chills just watching this because I know it's police and I love police and I trust them. But when they think that you're a murderer, because that's the only intel they've been given, it's a whole different dynamic. So it's terrifying. What do you do? Just like, I wouldn't even want to come down the steps. Like I wouldn't want them to see me. This man has like a wife and kids. It infuriates me. Matt said, in the interest of transparency, I've decided to release video footage of the swatting of my home at 2 a.m. last night. Please watch and understand how this could have gone horribly wrong if this was you and your home. This is not a joke. This is domestic terrorism. Pretty soon after that footage, more footage appears where, there's like a bunch more cops. So a bunch of people show up. These officers have guns drawn in all of these scenarios in the early morning with police arriving on scene, again, with the intel of these people being murderers or a kidnapping happening or a wide array of horrifying scenarios that are immediately dangerous for all parties. Here is Shawn's story, another one of those conservative influencers who was swatted.
Hey guys, it's Shawn, my wife Brennan, and just wanted to give you guys an update. We did just get swatted here in Tennessee. The officer said they received a phone call that somebody murdered somebody in the house and was planning a suicide by cop.
Maybe it's because I just shot guns yesterday and I'm all like hyper aware of just how like gnarly all of this is. That's just so scary to me. Like if they're even seen or if they think someone's being held hostage, then you suddenly become like they're assuming you're armed and they're assuming that you're immediately going to harm someone else. So you have to like very much prove that everything that they've been told is wrong in immediate fashion in the middle of the night. Really trying to stress, like, I feel like I've so many people just kind of roll off like swatting, like, oh, I've been swatted. No, this is actually a huge deal. And it's disgusting.
I received the call with that information. We cooperated with police. They were very nice.
They were actually very nice.
Very, very nice. They were not aware that this was going on across the country.
Let me also say, I'm not surprised that officers are not aware of this. It's not a common thing. It's happening among a small group of people. So on the large scale of the country, I don't think every officer is being trained of like, this is what swatting is. If you have a conservative influencer in your neighborhood, like it's so niche right now that these officers who get a call like this at 2 a.m. again are actually thinking that what they were being called about is real, which is why it's even scarier.
I was shaking. I was terrified. I was the only one awake. He was asleep.
Yeah.
And they were just pointing their guns into the house. And
Nope.
I was very scared. I was very scared.
And that's the point, and that's what these people are trying to do. They're trying to silence folks who are not afraid to speak their mind online. And you've seen it happen to so many other people across the country. We're going to do what we can from Tennessee to try and get to the bottom of who's responsible for it. I'd like to see the Justice Department or somebody somewhere get involved with getting to the bottom of it, because you can see it's not a joke. You're coming up to people's homes with very, very big guns that are very unsettling to a lot of people. And, one wrong move could create a disaster. But the bottom line is that if the result was that the person or people who did this was that I was going to stop doing things, it's not going to happen. So we're not blinking. It sucked. It was not ideal. And then they sent pizza.
Yeah.
Domino's and Papa John's both showed up.
And the whole pizza thing, Matt actually tweeted about that as well. And he said, Domino's pizza delivery has arrived. We did not accept the pizza, which a lot of them are saying that they think this is a scare tactic. I think it honestly started back in November of 2024, that a bunch of conservatives were just suddenly getting pizza delivered to their house, which was acknowledging that strangers know where they live. Frankly, that's creepy too. That by itself is creepy. If I get a pizza like late at night, I listen to too many like crime podcasts, but that's just scary. It's good they didn't accept the pizza. It's also good they didn't eat the pizza, because if you eat pizza at like 2 a.m., your metabolism is just going to go through the roof. And I would know that because of my Lumen. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It measures your metabolism through your breath and shows you if you are burning fats or carbs in real time. And here's the thing about metabolism: it is your body's engine, converting food into fuel that keeps you going. And when your metabolism is working optimally, everything improves, from your energy levels to your sleep quality. I love my Lumen. It's so easy to use. All you have to do is breathe into this, then it'll give you real-time measurements of what is happening inside your body regarding your metabolism. There's also an app that's connected to it, so all you have to do is check that, and then it will give you real-time personalized nutrition recommendations for the day. You can even use it before and after workouts and meals to understand exactly what's happening in your body. Plus, it adapts to your needs, even tracking and adjusting for hormonal changes. So if you want to take the next step in improving your health, you can go to lumen.me/Conard and get 20% off your first Lumen. That is lumen.me/Conard for 20% off your purchase. And thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring today's episode. Let me just put my Lumen away and get back to talking about these idiots. Some of these callers were actually targeting people's family members. So Nick Sorter's dad and sister were both swatted because he is the Nazi. It makes no sense. It's disgusting. Here's what Nick had to say. He tweeted an email that his sister had gotten saying that your brother is a Nazi, and then she was later swatted. And this is Nick describing the scenario. He said, both my dad and sister were swatted tonight. A dozen cops attempted to kick my dad's door in at gunpoint. This is literal effing terrorism, and the FBI should treat it as such. Before calling in the SWAT, the dumb shit sent my sister an email calling me a Nazi, of course, so the motive is clear. In my dad's case, the caller told police my dad was killing my entire family, requiring them to intervene with deadly force. This is nothing short of attempted murder. They wanted the police to kill my father. Unfortunately for the swatter, I will not stop, I will not shut up, and you will not win. If anything, my family is behind me even more than they were before, because they just got a firsthand look at the forces I'm fighting with on a daily basis. Your hate fuels me. I'm over the target. As President Trump says, fight, fight, fight. Imagine like sending it to his sister's house and his dad's house. They're sick people. But remember, he is the Nazi. Now, some people were trying to downplay these swatting incidents as just being like prank callers and no big deal, which everyone who actually understands the severity of something like this quickly responded back on X and said things like this. If you're downplaying this or nitpicking the definition of swatting, stop. This officer was responding to a murder call, and this one is in reference to Matt's story. He was on high alert, trained like every officer to prioritize his own life. It was 2 a.m., dark, every shifting shadow was a potential threat to both him and the homeowners. You're watching this from the safety of your own home, a cafe, wherever, calm, comfortable. You are not in that moment. You cannot compare your state of mind to Matt. Lives were at risk. This is absolutely domestic terrorism. Matt actually later got the chance to speak directly with the officer who first responded to his home, which I thought that the interaction that he had with the officer was interesting to share. And he said, I just got off a long phone call with a police officer in this photo who responded to the swatting call at my home last night. He was so upset. We both acknowledge how the situation could have gone terribly wrong for both of us. He also informed me that 2 ambulances, a fire truck, and nearly every cop on duty that night in the entire county was staged or rushing to stage at our home. Although it was scary for us, it was also terrifying for the police force in Western North Carolina as well. I want to commend the officer who calmly assessed the situation under extreme stress. His level head saved lives. I've also learned some astonishing information around the 911 call that I cannot share. We are safe. We will be protected. Thank you to all of you who voiced concern for us today and cared enough about strangers to share our story. Justice will be done. I would be so angry if I were these officers. So angry. We feature their tweets on the show all the time. But here's Cat Turd, who, again, also... I hate saying his name, seriously, her name. But Cat Turd was also swatted. This person said, how do I say this? I'm laughing. Why is your name Cat Turd? Cat Turd said, swatting is attempted murder and should be treated as such by the DOJ. A lot of other people were calling it domestic terrorism, which I did actually go and look up exactly how that is defined because I didn't quite understand and I wanted to see if it actually constitutes as domestic terrorism. The FBI defined it as involving acts dangerous to human life that are in violation of criminal laws of the United States or of any state. Okay, check, yes. Appearing to be intended to intimidate or coerce a civilian population. Influence the policy of government by intimidation or coercion. I mean, that right there checks the box, yes. Cat Turd then went on to say, just so you dumb know, I've already been swatted 3 times. I have a personal relationship with all the local cops in my small town. If you think you're going to swat me a 4th time, we're all just going to laugh at you. Yeah, when you start doing it to the same individuals multiple times, the cops will soon learn, of course, this man isn't murdering his family for the 4th time. I mean, like, idiots. They're so stupid. And they're trying so hard to get these people to shut up. And it's funny because it's not working. Duh. But my biggest question is, where is the FBI here? Because this is illegal and it just keeps happening. Luckily, Kash Patel did address this on Twitter this weekend, and he said, I want to address the alarming rise in swatting incidents targeting media figures. The FBI is aware of this dangerous trend, and my team and I are already taking action to investigate and hold those responsible accountable. This isn't about politics. Weaponizing law enforcement against any American is not only morally reprehensible, but also endangers lives, including those of our officers. That will not be tolerated. We are fully committed to working with local law enforcement to crack down on these crimes. More updates to come. It's wild, too, that these media figures then can just comment under the FBI's post, and Cat Turd just said, thank you, Cash. I mean, the dialogue, at least, is open lines directly to the head of the FBI. Now, hopefully something will actually be done about it, but at least they're addressing it. It's not just a one-off thing, either. This has been a growing trend for several months, but this weekend in particular, it seemed to be a targeted attack to many conservative voices. So immediately I ask, where is the media? Where is the coverage of a legitimate threat to intimidate freedom of speech? It's like crickets. Right-wing voices are being threatened, their lives legitimately in danger, and like I covered last week, the Tesla dealerships are being burned, and Tesla owners are randomly being attacked, or their property is being vandalized. So again, where is the media? If this was on the left, they would be screaming about an attack on free speech, an attack on their safety, an attack on democracy. But not in this scenario. Apparently, the guys who run these X accounts are the fascists. The ones being awoken at 2 a.m. with guns in their windows, with their wives and their kids in their homes because others don't like the words that they say online. Hello? Like, the irony is so evident. Is anyone waking up yet? I mean, do you see the irony and the hypocrisy? Do you see why the individual taunts and names that they call us are not just hypocritical, but they are exactly what they themselves act like? To the radical individuals who believe that this kind of behavior is going to silence these conservatives, your truly evil actions only encourage these brave voices to be even bolder. You are not shutting anybody up. In fact, you're waking up the country to your own hypocrisy. And to the FBI, it's time to kick it into gear and get these domestic terrorists arrested. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. If you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video if you enjoyed it. And last but not least, if you want more content, you can follow me on X and Instagram. Thanks so much and have a great day.